So let's get into this. Top 8 secrets to getting super fit at home, getting back to athletic. I'll get a little deeper into that, but there's your title. So, if you're in the right place, if you're, trying to struggle to get ready for the summer, getting ready for your golf and your running and your biking and your hiking, you want to have a running start into your fitness. And you don't want to take 1 month of your summer getting fit for your summer sports. You want to be there so you can enjoy it, so your knee pain is a little bit less. You want to figure out how to set up your home or your living room or your basement for success to work out. And maybe you want to know what are some unhealthy exercises you should stop doing at home so you're not getting more hurt. And some amazing exercises you should be doing no matter what. Maybe you don't have a structured workout plan and you want some advice on that. So you're in the right place if those things trigger it with you. So make sure you turn off your phones if you haven't already. Don't get distracted. Get your pen and paper out to make some notes. And any questions you have for me, you could actually just blurt it out. And I can't see you right now, but if you blurt it out, then I can answer it right away. I think that's the best use of our time. Okay. Does this sound familiar? You're at home. Maybe you like going to the gym or you like to see the group in a group fitness class, a location. So being at home, you're not too motivated. You may not feel like you have enough equipment or the right equipment. You have body pain during your workout, like joint pain, or maybe when you wake up in the morning, you have joint pain. You have no idea where to put elastic cables if you have them to get creative, because that's not what you do for your job, for your career, like me, right? And you're not getting results for maybe some generic programs on YouTube. And so you're kind of fishing in the dark for exercise. You don't know where to start. But it's really easy. The truth is, it's really easy to get super fit at home. I've had over a full year to troubleshoot that since COVID hit. So it's pretty fun. So half of you know who I am, and some of you know in detail who I am. Half of you know who I am in general, and some of you don't really know who I am. So I'm Neil Fox. My knowledge or my energy to get knowledgeable in fitness started, when you're in high school. But then I decided to go to McMaster to learn about that stuff, and that's where my passion really started. Personal training since 1997. I worked in a physio clinic in Whitby, Ontario. And in that clinic, I found that there was a lot of people coming from the GM plant, and a lot of them were pretending to be injured. So half of my job was to do tests on these people to see if they're lying. And that cost the company a lot of money, but it was less money to find out if they're lying or telling them, wasting money on them being out of work. And so I didn't find that too passionate. So I dove into personal training, got certified, and it's been a huge amount of immense, really rewarding. It's extremely rewarding. So, and then as a part of personal trainer in the past, 6 years ago, I got the Award of Merit for CPTN Personal Trainers Network. So that puts me in the 1% of personal trainers in Canada. I'm pretty proud of that. I became a mountain bike instructor for fun because mountain biking is my favorite sport. I was a pro DH downhill mountain bike racer. And I opened a gym, LifeWorks Gym, in 2003. I've learned a lot, not only about personal training since, but about business. I should learn a lot more about business, but it's tough. Business is fun, but it's a lot of work. And over the time of having a gym since 2003, I've fell into the role of being a specialist in training cross-country Olympic skiers. And a lot of mature athletes, or a lot of adult athletes that get worn out and injured playing in the mountains, and they want to get back to playing in the mountains as long as they can. And so that's the majority of my clients. 95% of my clients are that type of client. And that's where I get the most joy out of my career. So my reward is immense. But to tell you the truth, a bigger part of my learning curve, or my passion for my sport started, or for my career started, when I became a quadriplegic. Let me let somebody in here. There we go. Awesome. I was a quadriplegic. This was just before I opened the gym, 2002, and I was doing some dirt jumps by myself. There was this young kid. I mean, I'm 48 now, so this was 19 years ago or 20 years ago. There was a young kid there I didn't know, but I was doing this jump for about an hour by myself, and it was a double, so you had to clear a gap, and I was getting tired, and I should have stopped, but my last jump of the day, of course, was my tire hit the top of that jump, and I expect that tire to roll over, but it stopped dead, which meant that my head hit the ground with my arms at my side, which means, my neck got compressed really hard. And so I was still conscious and wide awake, and I'm lying there, and I can't move at all. And I'm breathing heavy because I just sprinted into this jump with my bike. And immediately I feel claustrophobic in my own body. I feel like my whole body's surrounded by saran wrap 1,000 times. And the kid, I didn't know who he was. He's like, "Dude, get up." I'm like, "I can't." And then I immediately think of, okay, what can I do for the rest of my life? I'll paint with my mouth. And so I felt a little bit better because, I like to do some artwork in high school. So that made me happy. So, and then 10 minutes later, I got that young guy to find someone with a flip phone, because there's no smartphones back then, to get an ambulance. But 10 minutes later, I could move my right foot just like a quarter inch. And I was so happy that I knew information was going down. So what really happened was, when my head hit the ground, my neck didn't shear and cut off and destroy the nerves completely. What happened was it compressed aggressively. And since I was in good shape, that the muscles reacted accordingly and really fast and really aggressively, and squeezed the living life out of my nervous system, created a cast around my neck. So kind of damaged all the nerves. And so over the course of a couple weeks, I got to, gross movement patterns. I could flop my body around. If someone touched me, it's like I got electrocuted, because it's like you slept on your arm, that kind of feeling, and pins and needles. But it was times 100 for me. And there was a point. The point of the story, I'm coming to it, is I flopped my whole body over the edge of the bed, and the nurse came in, knowing that I'm a stubborn guy, and knowing that the doctor told me that I would never walk again. I flopped my body to the end of the bed. She goes, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm going to go for a walk." She goes, "You can't." And then she went and brought back 6 other nurses, and they all kind of circled me. And then I got off the bed and fell onto the ground immediately. And they picked me up, and I said, "Okay, I'm ready, do it again." And so I squeezed my abs as hard as I could, and I could hardly breathe. I was just squeezing them, and I could stand there. It's like Bambi on ice. My knees were buckling, but I could just hold myself together. And so that was like an eureka moment. It seems like it makes total sense and it's easy to understand. But when you experience that, you go, yeah, you're nothing really without an active core. And a lot of people take it for granted. And so I became very hungry for information from then on, even more so. So every time I went to a fitness conference, that I would dig for, you get to choose your courses that you'd like to do. And you always go towards the courses for enhancing human movement, or moving better, or movement and injury, and all that stuff. And I just loved it, and I ate it up. And it took me down a rabbit hole down that path. So I've been trying to solve this problem since that injury. And then, so I've been doing this for a very long time and learning and learning and learning, and I can't stop learning. And so, and then COVID hit, and I had all this information, and now I have to just learn technology. So that's where it brings me down to this presentation, where you get to learn everything that I've learned and how to get fit in your home. So since I can't see anybody, if you have any questions, you can, like I said, you can blurt it out. And I have messages here. So, okay. All right. Okay, secret number one, everybody. This is pretty crucial, actually. Fitness journal, and make it a journal that's not computer, because you can get all these apps for fitness journals and checklists, but make it paper and pen or paper and pencil, because you need a break from the screen and the act of writing things on paper that we kind of get away from nowadays. Even me, imprints on in your mind more. So it's like you're creating a fitness diary, and it's important. So then from there, you're going to write down your goals, and you can break down your fitness goals into, you can go super far if you want. You can go 10 years down the road. What would you like for fitness? How do you see yourself? Then you can go down to 5 years. You can go down to 3 years, 1 year. You can go down to half a year, and then 1 month from now. And then I usually ask, when I get a consult, I'll ask 3 months down the road, that we can get somewhere in 3 months. So the most important is to set yourself for 3 months down the road. What do you see yourself? And write all these things down in detail. The journal is great for pain scores. So every month you can write down the different parts of your body that has pain, like knees. The most famous areas for pain are knees and lower back and shoulder joint. So especially those areas. Put a score out of 10. 10's really, really painful, and 0 is zero pain. And keep a log of all these things and watch the pain scores go down. If the pain scores are going up, you got the wrong program, or you're not doing the right exercises. And so you can put scores to workouts and how the workout was. And if something hurt during a workout, you can make a note of that. So then you can ask me if you want on an email or a messenger, even if you're not working with me. And then how you feel in the morning is a good way to score things. Some people get tight lower backs in the morning, and so if it's getting less and less. And an activity assessment is what I've started introducing with my clients, where, it's really hard to put scoring to functional movement patterns. Like in the old days when I got certified for fitness testing out of McMaster, and it was really rudimentary. It was really basic. Like, it was how many sit-ups you could do and how many push-ups you could do in a minute, all these kind of things, but I don't believe in anymore because we have all evolved, but it's not really a good number for function. And so that was a real struggle for me, how to score function over the years. But an activity assessment is if you're injured and you want to get back to a marathon, let's use a marathon as an example, and maybe you use a running around the track downtown Canmore, for example, and you run 4 laps of that as your assessment, and you do that once a month. And you write in your journal how long it took you, pain scores for knees or lower back, and that you felt for energy, and all these different metrics. And so every time you do that assessment, you can get a really good idea how much you're improving. Maybe it's a hike. You can use that as your activity assessment, or a bike ride. Yeah. And so in that journal, the last one is questions. If you have any questions for Neil down the road, you can put that in there, because things will pop up during your workout. So when you do not use paper journal, you will not imprint your thoughts. You will not get gratification from logging your progressions, because it feels good to get improvements and to log these things. And that makes you do it more, and that makes you work out more, which means you're going to get fitter. And then it's going to be an upward cycle. A positive cycle, continuous. And if you don't have a paper journal, you'll be less organized for your workouts. You won't have your goals down in place, which means you won't know where to go. And you'd be less prepared for the summer because you'd be a little bit more injured, or you're going to be a little bit less fit. So that bike ride you went on, you're struggling for oxygen rather than enjoying the view. Okay, secret number 2 is set your SMART goals. So this really falls into place with your journaling. It's really, really important. So make your goals specific so that you know what you're working towards. When I first consult my clients, I'll ask them, what does fitness look like for you in 3 months? And a lot of people will start with, I want to just get strong. And so then I'll ask why 5 times, usually to get down to the deep meaning of their goals. And they'll say, get strong. I'll go, why do you want to get strong? Well, because I feel weak. I go, okay, why do you feel weak? Well, I pick up a box in my house and it's hard to pick up, or my lower back hurts. I go, okay, so why is that important to you? Because also maybe I want to play with my grandchildren and that hurts. And then it digs deeper. It goes, oh yeah, I want to be able to hike with my friends and not be the last person they're waiting for all the time. So there's that. And then you want to make it measurable. So that's why the metrics, the scores out of 10. And measurable is if your main goal is to lose weight, so that's a measure. So you do a body fat scan. Attainable means this could be twofold. Attainable is one-fold, where you make a goal that in 3 months, I want to do the 4 laps around the track, and I want to do it in 10 seconds faster. So that's attainable for sure. But you also want to make a goal that's seems far out there, like, reach for the sun and hit the moon type of idea, so that you'll actually get there. You don't want to shoot too low, is what I'm trying to say. And R is relevant. So if you're training to try to run around that track a little bit faster with less joint pain, then can somebody please mute?
My sheet.
So if you want to make it relevant, it means you're not going to be doing
It's on the floor in front of your desk.
Olympic.
Your ball.
I'm just gonna I'm gonna mute everybody here. Just a sec. There we go. Sorry about that. So training for to run around that track, you don't want to start doing a huge amount of Olympic lifting, for example, to try to get that goal of running around that track faster. And time-based, and so that's the 3-month mark. So you're just not saying, okay, I want to get around that track faster, but you don't put a time stamp on there. It's harder to reach. So you don't set your SMART goals, you have nothing to work for, you have no roadmap. It's like you're getting into a car and you start driving, but you don't know where you're driving to, which means you'll have less motivation to work out. And you will work out less, and then you may get more joint pain because you're not moving as much, and you won't be able to keep up with your fit friends. All right, secret number 3, schedule your workouts. And so I work with a lot of busy professionals, and a lot of you are here on the call, and I'm one of those people as well, where put it in your schedule, your work schedule, and you put it between the meetings, and you guard it with your life. You make that appointment for your personal fitness, even though you're not going to meet somebody. You're meeting yourself in your living room or your basement, but you guard that appointment with your life, and you make it the most appointment you have, because it's for you, and you won't be able to do the things with your family or your work if you're not fit. And it also helps you to stay mentally fit when you're doing your workout. And so if you have administrators working on your schedule, they don't need to know that you're doing a workout for yourself. You can label it something else, like very important business meeting or something like that. So that's important, and therefore you'll start to show up to appointments, because that's why a lot of people hire personal trainers, because it makes them show up. So trick your brain and do it to yourself is what I'm trying to say. And if you burn those workouts into your daily schedule, you'll show up more, you'll have more structure. With structure comes integrity, and you will feel stronger. And consistency is total key. just the showing up every day is total key. And it doesn't mean that you have to show up every day and do a really hard workout every single day, but at least it's scheduled where maybe you need to be doing active recovery and you're doing a light hike that day instead of a hard workout. That's okay as long as you're being consistent. So with me, I fall into that category where I didn't give myself any personal fitness. Trying really, especially when COVID hit, I'm scrambling to get online fitness going and try to do it the best I can and try to get everybody as fit as they can without getting hurt. And that's the trick of it all. And working long hours and then trying to be with my family at the same time. And so I had to start scheduling my own workouts in. Secret number 4, setting up your workout space. Some basic things first is, for me, it worked for me too, is like prepare your workout clothes the night before. So you're not in the morning, if you're working out in the morning, looking for workout clothes because time passes by and you're wasting time and you get less motivated. And then you may not do the workout. Prepare your equipment ahead of time so everything's set up, especially if you're going to be doing a group class online. So you're not looking for things while the class is going, or maybe you're doing a workout with a trainer online and you want to have everything there. You want to cue your music if you're doing that workout on your own so you're not shuffling looking for a playlist. So all you have to do is press play and you're off. Destroy as many barriers as possible. And so when you're picking a room in your house, first you want to pick a room that has enough space, but in the basement or the living room, or maybe it's a bedroom, maybe it's a patio. And if you have to move 1 or 2 things in a living room, just make it that, so you don't have to rearrange the whole thing every time because that's a barrier. Make sure you're not working out at the top of the stairs. And make sure if you have cables that you're not attaching them to like a shelf that would fall down, something really permanent. There you go. Now, next. So some home items for your workout. You can use a staircase for, like in place of a aerobic step, or a coffee table for a bench. I've had lots of clients use that. A backpack you can fill with books for a kettlebell, for example, or a weight of some sort. Paper plates or rags to put your feet on. So for example, I'm going to show you this, where to simulate a paper plate or a slider where you can, so that's the thing, I can't see myself. And you're sliding your feet around to do balance exercises. You can have a rag on a slippery floor, or you can have a paper plate on a slippery floor, or you can have a paper plate on a carpet, and that works fine too. So these are simple, low-cost items you could do to create some fitness for balance. You can use your chair for items that are a bench, so you can do exercises that support your body weight. Or a couch, we use a couch quite a bit, or cans of food for light weights, because you'll find with, a physio style of exercises or postural exercises, cans of food are light or heavy enough, because you'll find that the postural muscles don't need much for you to fire them. So some awesome equipment. Just a sec here. Some awesome equipment that some of my clients are using is, the ones on the left with the bands. Those are the ones you can attach to doors, and the one around the ankle is really low cost but highly effective for your bum. And bum's going to make you live longer, so those things are super cool to have. And in fact, I have links right here. I'm going to put them in the chat for those 2 items. Oh no, I just messed that up. Fix it. There. Let me put this one in the chat. One sec. I'll do that later. Okay, and then a Bosu ball on the right side over here is a really awesome piece of equipment because it offers an immense amount of an unstable surface, but makes it super safe because it doesn't shift around. So it can really attack your skeletal stabilizers and your core and really train you from the inside out. And they don't seem to die. They don't seem to break. I've had 12 of them in my gym, and a lot of them have survived for 15 years, and I use them commercially and I destroy them. So there's that. And an exercise ball, I tend to use that, not as much as the top three things, but I use it a little bit, and most people already have them. And then the light weights, 3 pounds to 15 pounds, and most people only use between 10 pounds to 3 pounds and when I train them. So, but if you're a stronger person with less injury, then you can go up to 15 to 20 pounds. You can buy this stuff. There's no need to spend money on these home gym systems that cost, there's ones for $5,000 and they go up from there. You can spend for those cables, you can spend somewhere between 30 to 50 bucks and you have entire gym for functional movement. So the thing is where to attach these cables, and we're going to show you right now. I'm going to have this cable here. So stuff like this, you can use a door, and you can put it anywhere you want in the door. So at this point, if anyone can tell me if they can see this, that'd be great. So I'm putting the nylon strap inside the door, and then lock the door. And then if there's someone else living in the house, I would make sure the door is locked so that no one opens the door while you're working out and the cable comes flying out. And then for workouts like the stuff I do, if you have a cable set up anywhere from knee height to head height, that really opens up the gamut for functional workouts. And you can do lots of exercises where you have to work off of your own core to get the job done, which is really good. And you put the cable high, put the cable down low, so you can go low to high or high to low, which really creates a pulley system, simulates a pulley system from the gym. Or if you have to wrap something like this around a post, pretend this is a post, and you can loop it through, then you have a cable hanging from a post. There you have it. And then there's one more thing here I'm going to show you. If you have a basement that you can set up, or your wife will let you screw things into the wall, you can put these little eyelets. These are $2 from Canadian Tire, and screw it into a 2x4 in your wall, and you can click the cables into that. And then you can end up start doing like a foot height one, a knee height one, a hip height one, shoulder height one, and an overhead reach one. And then you have lots of versatility. And it only costs you 10 bucks, just a little bit of labor to do it. So when your workout space is super set, then with the cables especially, you're going to have a whole variety of exercises to do. And that means you're not going to get bored. But then you're not just using dumbbells and stuff against gravity, because you're only working against the gravity. But if you have cables coming at you from sideways, then that really challenges your core. And you can do lots of movement patterns with your core firing a lot harder, which accentuates that core drive and then really translates to your outdoor sports. And then your workouts become way more fun. And then you get fit faster because you're not getting bored and you're having fun. Secret number 5, do not injure yourself when you exercise. So you can see this girl squatting on the right. I put that there because in my mind that's an ugly squat. So her knees are buckled in a bit, but her lower back is starting to stretch out. Her hips are starting to wink underneath, because she ran out of mobility she may not be in the right squat stance. But if she loaded that or did a lot of repetition with that, or maybe did a jumping pattern with that, her lower back would start to get painful over the years of her life if she continued to squat that way. So staying away from degenerative exercises is one thing. So me as a personal trainer, I have a whole pillar of exercises in my brain that I'll never give to anybody. Doesn't matter how fancy they look or how fun they might look or how creative they look. They're never going to be involved in a class I teach or personal training, because they're going to make your joints worse, and they're not getting you to your goal of doing your running or your sports at 110 years old. So that's the goal for me, for my clients, and that's the goal for my clients, that when they tell me that. After I dig a while, that's their goal as well. You have to do less exercises that don't align with your goal. So if your goal is to do your sports better with less joint pain, then and you have a limited amount of time, you want to fill that time with really dense functional exercises. You don't want to fill your time with exercises that don't get you there faster. For example, like a bicep curl is fine and dandy and it's not degenerative, but it's not going to get you there faster. There's lots of exercises that are functional that will have biceps in there indirectly. But if your goal is to do a swimsuit competition or a bodybuilding competition, then yeah, bicep curls go towards your goals. But if your goal is to be functional, not as much. And if you really want to have bigger biceps, then you start doing those things at the end of your functional workout, if you want it for looks, because everybody wants nice things on their body too. I get it. So then you want to start filling your workouts with the clean functional exercises, and then you want to progress at your own rate. So all these things really fill up that column of don't hurt yourself. Let's get in deeper with that. You want to stay away from exercises that hurt you. And I'm going to show you, off the top of my head, I'm going to show you a couple of these ones. I bet you there's a lot more that I've missed, but tricep dips on the right here. Does the video work if I click on it? No, it's gone now. So tricep dips, I got a bench here. I don't want to show you fully because I don't want to get hurt. You know, you do these things up and down like that, and 99% of the population isn't going to do that exercise correctly anyways, because we've all been working at a desk or driving or even road biking. We're all internally rotated and protracted, and so our mid back kind of gets glued forward, and it's really hard to create some space in our mid back, to create some space in our shoulder joint. So when you do this and you're doing dips, you're really crowding that shoulder joint. It's really elevating the shoulder blades, and so this finger-like process here just cramps down all your external rotator cuff tendons, and then you do some exercise and just pinch, pinch, pinch. And they're doing that all for the love of bigger triceps. And so first of all, it's not a functional exercise. Second of all, it's huge degenerative. And then you'll see people start to go fast with that too. It's even worse. But if you're young, you kind of get away with it when you're young, but you're still paying the toll for when you get older. You'll feel shoulder joint pain later on in your life, maybe even a decade later in your life, and you'll be unsure where that came from. So that'll be a piece of the puzzle where it came from. Anything with lower back stretches is another thing you're going to stay away from. So where you're going to cross, like this one for sure, and you cross over, and you put some pressure on the outside of your knee, and that really directly tries to mobilize your lower back. We did that stretch in football practice in high school all the time. And we even did that before the warm-up. So there's so many things wrong we did with that exercise. So you never want to mobilize that lower back, and you'll find that most humans will have overworked lower backs, whether you're using it too much to lift items or you're using it with a twisting motion to carry stuff. or you're directly stretching it because it's tight, because it's been overworked. So you got to give that lower back a vacation and stop poking and prodding it and give it more. So we're going to talk about the support structures of the lower back. I don't want to go off too much. Sit-ups. I did a thing on Facebook just last week or this week on sit-ups. So horrible. The picture at the bottom of the screen says it all, where your feet get anchored underneath a couch or someone's holding the feet, and then you're pulling your torso up and down. Maybe you're doing it fast because you're see how many you can do in a minute. I would never suggest that, but the sit-up is horrible for your lower back because, here, let's use this. Imagine this cable is attached to your lower back. And so this post here is your lumbar spine, your spinal cord. And this cable is coming out of your belly button. And so every time you do a sit-up, the cable's pulling on your lower back. And so what does that mean? Every time that cable pulls on your lower back, it's causing a shear load. Remember I talked about my bike injury where this did not happen because this happened? So same idea. That cable's trying to do this, and so your core muscles are firing really hard to save the life of your lower back, and that's the reason why your abs are firing, because it's a hip flexor exercise with an ab protecting agent happening, or an ab guarding agent. And if you do that really fast and maybe you're putting a weight in your hand at the same time, even worse, and over the course of decades of doing that, it's going to be a huge piece of the puzzle why you may or may not have lower back pain. Front pulls. I'm not going to show you. I'll show you with body weight so it feels better. But you have weights in your hand and you're pulling up to here, or it's a barbell and you're pulling up to here. Even worse is holding that close grip like this on a barbell and you're pulling up to here. You can see how that impinges and crowds the shoulder joint. And they're doing that to get some shoulder muscles, but so again, it's not a functional exercise, but highly degenerative for the shoulder joint. Stay away. Anything with a weight belt. So maybe you have your garage set up for heavy lifting and you have to wear a weight belt to protect your lower back. It's not good, anything with a weight belt, because you should be practicing stuff you can do, but using your own muscles to stabilize your spinal cord. If you don't use your muscles to do the job, then you lose the muscles to do the job. It's like, what was it, 2 decades ago, UPS drivers used to have those belts carrying the boxes out of the truck, but they banned the belts because they were hurting themselves going home, picking up their child because they didn't have the belt on anymore, and their body learned to turn off because the belt did the job of their core. So I don't believe in that stuff. And then doing an elevated back lunge higher than 4 inches wouldn't be a great thing to do either. I did do a video on this the other day as well. I'm pretty sure you can see me. So this is higher than 4 inches. So a back lunge would be, a step up is fine because that angle is great. But if you're doing a lunge where you're dipping the back knee lower, and then that creates more of an angle here, which creates a higher angle here. Which is too aggressive of an angle for your knee joints and hip joints, which can cause hip pain down the road because the hip joint, the capsule is stretching out too much. And then the knee joint is too aggressive. So the muscles are overstretched, so they can't fire optimally and protect those joints. And imagine you're doing that with speed. Imagine you're doing that with weights in your hands and you're doing lots of repetition over the course of years. That will highly contribute to joint pain in your hips and your knees. So stay away from stuff like that. So those are just off the top of my head. Definitely write down stuff if you have any questions about exercises at the end of this. If anything surfaces. If you're doing something and you're not sure, that hurts. So do less exercises that do not align with your fitness goals. I mean, you can for fun, but if you want to get to your goals faster, just concentrate on density of function, if function is your goal. And then all the functional exercises that you're supposed to do, you make sure you're doing them right. We could talk about this one for hours, but the guy in the picture, it's not perfect. I like to have the lunge where the knee is forward more over the laces, and so the ankle of the knee is a little bit more bent, so then the angle that transmits to the angle of your hip joint. So you're down here, the knee is over the laces, your chest is over your heel, your knee is hovering the floor about 1 inch, and so this angle here is not as aggressive as the bench, but it creates more bum physics here. So the ankle's harder here, my posture's on an angle. The guy in the picture, the posture is not quite in that angle, and the bum is kind of turned off there. So most of the load for him is in the quads. So therefore, a lunge for me is a bum dominant exercise. And so bum strength with functional movement patterns equates to longevity and sport for a long time in your life. Cleaning up the squats, making sure you're in the right squat stance so that you can get the deepest squat with beautiful posture and your heels hard into the floor. I see a lot of people doing push-ups on the ground and they're hanging their spinal cord. So I'm going to just show you how to do a push-up while we're here. So when you're on the floor and you get down here, you gather your mid-back. You put some stiffness in your bum and your abs really hard to create your spinal cord or turn your spinal cord into a 2x4 and gather your mid-back before you push. So you put some tension underneath the armpit before you push because it creates some space in your AC joint up through here. I also like to put my hands out like this. And so instead of push up like that, I like to put my hands outward on a little bit of an external rotation just so that it encourages external rotation in the shoulders for that push-up. Pulling exercises, instead of pulling like this for the sake of pulling, what's the goal of your pulling? The goal of your pulling is to get some strength and density into your mid-back. And mid-back is a third of your core, just like your bum is and your abs are. So try to draw your shoulders down first, pull second, and then finish third, because I'll find that if I can even get this with my clients, that they might finish up here, or they'll try to go further, which means they end up going up here. So it's down, it's a pull, and then it's finish. All right. The planks is kind of the same thing as the push-up. Another thing so you don't hurt yourself is progress super slow, especially if you're hardly injured and you're starting to get into a program, or if you haven't worked out in years, or if you're new to working out, that you start slowly and work your way up. So you try and get unloaded range of motion before you load the range. If you can't get into full range of motion lunge or a squat, there's no way you should be adding weights to that. You should be using a TRX or a counter to try to get some assisted range of motion that's pain-free. Stepping versions instead of jumping versions, like a jumping jack, you can do a stepping jack if your knees are sore. And for your workout frequency, start out with once a week, reassess the situation. If it feels okay, I'll go 2 times a week for my program and build up from there. And then maybe if you're new to it, you start at 50% intensity, really light cables or light resistance, and you build yourself up over the course of 3 months to, the 10th rep, I can almost not do 11 at that point. And then when you're no longer injuring yourself, guess what? You can finally start to heal. And then when you're starting to heal, then the exercises that don't hurt you are finally getting some progress, and you're getting progress faster. There's no longer that tug of war between, okay, I'm hurting myself over here, but I'm not hurting myself over here, but I'm still trying to heal. I'm inflamed. I'm in guarding mode over here. So when you stop hurting yourself, you won't guard. Your body will flick the switch, and positive cycles will start to happen. You'll start to look forward to your workouts because you don't hurt anymore. And you start to look forward to your workouts because you know that you have the right tools to get the job done. Secret number 6. BAM is in every workout. BAM is my acronym for the 3 parts of your core: your bum, your abs, and your mid-back. They are central in your body, and your bum, abs, and mid-back surround your lower back. They hug your lower back, support it when they're working, right? The thing is, the bum, abs, and mid-back are big pieces of meat that keep you together, that your limbs attach to, but in human society nowadays, they're the least functional. The bum especially is the thing that we sit on the most, is the most dysfunctional piece of meat we have. So no wonder that above and below the glutes, the lower back, and the knees are one of the most popular areas to get injured. It's not their fault. It's the bum's fault, if you want to blame someone. So you don't strengthen your BAM in every single workout, you'll not get back to active life. That's a rule of mine. There's a bum exercise, there's an ab exercise, there's a mid-back exercise in every single class I teach, every single workout that I give to somebody, because it's going to get them to their goals. And there's different levels of it too. So if you're injured or just starting out, maybe you just do a hip lift or a bum exercise that's simple. It's by itself. And then down the road, as you get more fit and functional and less pain, that you start to integrate exercises that include mid-back with the bum. Maybe you're doing a lunge with a pole of a cable at the same time to integrate that. But you don't do that right away. You don't strengthen your BAM, your lower back will do all the work, and it'll get overworked and it'll get sore. Your knees will have to do most of that structural support when you're biking or you're running or playing any racket sports. And then your neck will get rock hard because your mid-back is turned off, and so all the energy and support that the mid-back is supposed to do is the neck. And below the mid-back is the lower back. So that happens all the time. Everyone's got weak mid-backs and weak bums from desk work, mostly, or sitting in general. And the lower back is very central and takes all the blunt. You start to move like a robot because all the muscles are on that are guarding your body, and you become more robotic. You move your limbs with muscle instead of a combination of muscle and elasticity of your fascial tissue. So how to strengthen your BAM? We can get deep into this for another hour, but quickly, addressing exercises for your glutes, your abs, your mid-back. I always make sure that there's a stability component, that when you're standing on one leg, for example, and your knees moving around or your body starts to vibrate, that we address that and continue doing balance exercises until that irons out, and then try more challenging balance exercises after that. Working on mobility, if your bum is really tight from a lot of sitting, that we work on exercises that encourage range of motion in your glutes until we get full range of motion, and then start loading that full range of motion. And then strength component, and I've done a lot of assessments over the years, I'd say thousands in CAMWAR, and I've always put a check mark with weakness to everyone's bum and abs and mid-back. And so I just assume it now, and it's a no-brainer. So that's good. It's good to know that if you put some strength component in your workout of your bum exercise and ab exercise and mid-back exercise, you're winning. And anything else you do on top of that is fine, but as long as you front load with BAM exercises. So if you're on vacation, like, what should I work out on? Oh, ask the local personal trainer, give me a bum exercise, and then ask them for a mid-back exercise, and ask them for a ab exercise. You can create some BAM circuits. Practice your BAM in everyday movements, like when you're picking up a box. Even if I'm picking up a pencil off the ground, I will grab it, I'll adjust my posture, I'll draw my shoulders down, I'll tighten my abs, and I'll press up through my left heel to fire my bum. But at this point, it's habitual. I don't have to think about all these processes. I just do it and I pick it up. So then when I pick up my child, or my child's going to jump on me, like last night, he jumped off the bunk bed and I got my BAM all set like this, because I wanted to be, protect myself, but I don't want to drop. So everything you do in life, if you're going to go up I do this with mountain biking, where I know there's a 10 meter steep pitch coming up. I'll set my BAM, I'll draw my shoulders down, I'll tighten my abs, and I'll power up that steep pitch. It really helps generate force into my limbs, into my legs, to get up that steep pitch. So that's a nice conscious effort and a very good way to introduce that into your life. So the only way to reach ultimate fitness without pain is to strengthen your BAM all the time. Secret number 7, choose a program that aligns with your goals 100%. Try not to just do general fitness on a YouTube program, which is fine and dandy, but try and get a program that's laser focused to get you that goal as fast as you can with the least amount of damage to your body. Whether it's a live stream class, because some people like that style of workout because they like the camaraderie. Even on a Zoom class, there's an energy, with a group energy in there. Customized programs that you do on your own with an assessment, or maybe it's a one-on-one training on Zoom. I've been doing that for a year now, and it's a thing. Generic YouTube workouts are good if you're not injured. YouTube workouts are good if you're self-motivated and you know how to move well already. And they're good if your goal is to, seriously, your general fitness is really only your goal, or you're doing a program that you want to lose 20 to 30 pounds and that's why you're doing it, then fine and dandy. But if you have specific detailed goals, then I'd steer away from that kind of stuff. So the live stream classes depends on the style that you do, because live streamed means that it's not recorded, that the instructor is able to see you and still give you some feedback, and they should. Customized programs are really good if you don't need to have that feedback one-on-one, because you move kind of well, but you want that flexibility to be able to do the workout whenever you want. That's what that's really good for. But the customized programs are good compared to the live stream classes, because you're getting something tailored for your own personal energy leaks, so that we're supporting injury instead of working more in injury. In the live stream one-on-ones, same idea as the class, as the program, because it's a little more flexible. You can choose your time that's available, but you get laser focused feedback by the second. The only attention is on you, and therefore you do get way more feedback on what doesn't look so pretty when you're doing that movement. I can give you a cue right away and say, try this. Or you're like, oh, my knee hurts right now. Okay, now try this. Yeah, good. I already talked about that. So when your program aligns with your goals, you know you have the right tool for the job. That increases motivation. Create your new, and then after 3 months, I'll find that doing that positive thing continuously, then now you have a habit. I had someone in my group call, or my 12-week program, saying, yeah, now because I give them homework to do for a movement that takes them literally 30 seconds. They have to do this one thing before they brush their teeth in the morning and before they brush their teeth at night. And so she goes, now every time I pick up my toothbrush, I think of my exercise I have to do. So it's habitual. So that's cool. Secret number 8, some Zoom tips for exercise feedback. So some of you that need these little tips let's just do this right now. So if you want feedback from your instructor and you're doing an exercise program, make sure that the sun or the window, the light from the window or the lamp is shining directly on your face, instead of like the window or the sunlight coming from behind you, because then you become blacked out, a silhouette. They can still see you, but it's not as good as if the sun's shining right on you. Try to set up your camera ahead of time so that most of the time I could see you from head to toe. So then I can see you when you're doing like floor exercises, and the instructor can see you when you're doing, squat to an overhead press, and then you get the most feedback possible. Using a smart device like a phone or a tablet to put it so that the view goes sideways, and then you can see more of that situation instead of a narrow view. It kind of blocks off the sides. When you put on Zoom, you put the top right corner, you put it to speaker view, and then you can see the full screen of the instructor instead of seeing all the segments of everyone else in the room. Make sure you mute yourself so that everyone else in the room can only see the instructor, because sometimes you forget, or I forget to mute everybody, that every time a noise in the background in your house happens, the screen will go to you. And if you need to ask a question during the class, it's always awesome to not say anything, but to put a message in the chat, because it pops up and I can see that, or the instructor can see that, or maybe it's like, I can't see you very well, or I can't hear you, and then these are good things. Or maybe it's like, my knee hurts, can you give me some advice? And I can go, okay, no problem, while teaching the class. This stuff is really applicable for group classes, by the way. So let's wrap this up. Let's encapsulate what we've talked about. What you need to succeed for home fitness is, number one, start your fitness journal. Write it down instead of the computer version. Set your SMART goals. Get specific. Put a timeline on it. Schedule your workouts in your planner. This is way more important when the workout is on you to get it done. You're not meeting someone for the workout. This is more appropriate for programs you're doing on your own. Schedule it. Set up your workout space. Number 4, make sure it's organized. Everything's in its place. It's easy to access. Get your clothes ready the night before, your water ready the night before. Set up your music list so you just press play. Low barriers. Take all the barriers out of the way. Stop injuring yourself. Stop doing exercises that should not be in your inventory, and doing exercises that maybe are filling your time that you shouldn't be doing, and clean up the beautiful exercises. Make sure they're cleaned up. If you don't know how to do that, make sure you ask me or somebody that knows. Include BAM in every workout. If you have a program from someone else and there's not enough BAM in there, just sprinkle some more BAM in there. Align your program with your fitness goals. So make sure you after you know your goals are in really good detail, you can see yourself in a picture of what you're doing. You're sprinting up a mountain and you see that and you want that. What's the program that's going to get me there? Make sure it lines up, and set up your Zoom for success for group classes. So how can I help you further? If you want, we can book a call and I can help you set up your workout space. I can help you see what equipment you have, and if you need whatever you have, I can see if you can optimize what you currently have. And we can get into a personal of answering any personal movement questions or any struggles you have in your house. And we can dig deep into your fitness goals too if you're not sure. And then I can help you figure out the right program for you, whether it's with me or with somebody else, as long as we're getting more focused on where you should be going, what direction you should be going this way with your fitness, or you should go this way with your fitness. We got to pick a general location or direction first, and then we can start to fine tune and put a pin on that map so we know exactly where to go to and what style. Like everyone's got a style for their brain, what resonates with them for fitness. So thank you so much. If anyone has any questions at this time, they can definitely email me or talk to me right now. But if you want to book a call just to talk and figure the stuff out, you can either email me or text me, and we can get that going. Actually, let me see if I can copy this. Yeah. So what I'm going to do Let's put this in the chat, a link in the chat so you can book the time to talk to me if you want. It's in there right now. And you know what? No, I won't worry about that other thing. Wait a sec. Everybody. Paste. There it is. Does anybody have any questions? You can unmute yourself if you do. That was a mouthful, eh? Okay. While you're waiting there, those links that I talked about, I'm gonna go back and find that link and post it in the chat for those cables if you want. They're just Amazon links. And there's this one. There's that one. Let me get the other one here for you. Mm-hmm. Okay, there you are. So that was it, everyone.
I have a question.
Good, thank you.
Just when I listen to what some people, not necessarily just here, but in general, some people like work out every day, and then some people work out 3 times a week. And as we get older and things like that, I'm cautious about overtraining.
Mm-hmm.
But then I can be so cautious about overtraining, I might be undertraining. So like, how do you figure that out?
So the answer is always it depends. It depends on, well, it's easier with you and me because I train you, and so we know that frequency. But if you don't, it depends on your current fitness levels. It depends on your exercise program intensity, and it depends how injured you are, your ability to move well. So when you're with someone, with a personal trainer, then that kind of gets figured out because, we're not doing Olympic lifting 6 days a week. So, therefore you're not doing too much. But if you're doing like a sports medicine program, the style of program that I do, that's not as high of an intensity, but you can do something like that at least 2 to 3 times a week.
So you don't have to do it like 5 times a week.
You can, and like I said, it depends on your program, how it's built for you. So, for like a style of program for me, it's like a general question. So if you get something built for you, I'll usually tell my clients, we're going to work out 2 to 5 days a week, whether you're with me or not. So you say you work out with me once a week, and you're going to do that workout on your own. If you're just starting with me, you're going to do that workout on your own at least 1 more time this week. And then we'll reassess the situation after a week or 2. And maybe you bump up to doing the workout on your own 2 more times that week. And then, so it depends on where you were before we started training, or how injured you were, or if you've been working out a lot before that happened. So you always have to start on the side of caution. So the goal and the trick of training, right, is to not train too low because you're not getting enough stimulation for adaptation. That's why an assessment. So let's call this your line for a threshold for pain. I'm injuring you if I train you up here. So if I don't know who you are and your capability and I give you a program, I might train you way down here because I don't want to injure you, but you're not getting much stimulation for adaptation. So then you get an assessment, then I'm getting closer to this threshold. And then I train you once, I train you twice, I train you 3 times. We're right at that threshold for where I injure you, but I'm not injuring you because I'm right there. Then once I get here, I can push it up a little bit. and then we can train you a couple weeks here. I can get up here again, then we can push that up again. So now you're less likely to get injured down the road, but where your intensity is slowly getting higher and higher to maximum load without injury. And if I don't know who you are and I go super hard on your program, then you might get into the injury mode where that's never good. There's never any progress there. Your body's going to shut down and start to guard and try to repair itself. It's also going to signal your body to stop moving. So it's going to give you more pain, so you stop moving and stop hurting yourself. So does that help? Does that answer help?
Yes, it helps.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah. Okay. All right, team. Well, I'm going to put this video and I'll email everyone tomorrow if they want to watch it or share the video with somebody else. They can watch it on their own time and so you can absorb a bit more. But thank you everybody for showing up. That was fun. And I'll hope to see you sometime.
Thank you.
Talk to you later. Bye,
Thanks,
guys.
Neil.
Awesome.